What's going on? Welcome to the first video of the 5-day split. This is basically a series where I show you the exact breakdown of my workouts for the entire week. Now, why did I create this video? After talking to hundreds of people and my own coaching clients, the one thing everyone lacks when they first start, and I did myself, was the knowledge. What should I be doing? How long should I be doing it for? Form tips, techniques, things I've learned over the last 4 years to take my physique from an average slender build to the most aesthetic physique I could possibly look for at the age of 23. Now, who's this video for? It's for someone who's looking to put on 10 to 15 pounds of extra muscle. Maybe someone who's looking to slim down and achieve that aesthetic physique. Maybe someone who was once, in really good shape and wants to get back to that. This video is for you. It's gonna give you all the tips and techniques to build the most optimal aesthetic physique you're looking for. Now, these videos are gonna be posted over the next 5 days. You're gonna get an insight into every single thing I do when I train. I'm making these videos like I'm talking to my younger self. 5 videos, Monday to Friday, 1 video on Instagram, 1 video on YouTube. Let's get into it. Hopefully you guys enjoy. All right, so we're gonna be doing the first day of the 5-day split. Now, today we're gonna be hitting quads. The reason why I hit quads on the first day is because I have a mindset of where I wanna get my hardest lift done first day of the week. When I hit quads, I do quads on a Monday, glutes and hamstrings on a Thursday. Reason for this is because when I first started working out, it's very hard to hit all the components of my legs on one day, even if I program it twice a week. Your legs are a big muscle. You've got your glutes, quads, hamstrings, stabilizer muscles like abductors and adductors. You've got your calves. So focusing on quads has allowed me to hit the specific muscle group and grow my legs tremendously. There's 2 things we wanna focus on. We wanna focus on knee flexion and we wanna focus on load. You're gonna hear a lot over this series that getting your muscle in the stretch position really allows it to grow optimally. Before we start any quad exercise, we're always gonna do a warm up. We're gonna do some dynamic mobility, something to warm up our knees real quick before we start squatting. And we're gonna really get into our exercises where we have all warm up sets. And then from there, we go into our working sets. Now, what do we got on the agenda today? We've got squats, we've got goblet squats on the Smith machine, we've got leg extensions, and then we've got a leg press. And then we're gonna do some calves. So 5 exercises, very simple. Let's get into it. I'm gonna do the warm up. I'm not really gonna film it, but then we're gonna go into our squats.
If you want me, if you need me.
All right, so first exercise we're starting off with is a squat. Always start off with the squats. It's my heaviest workout. Yeah, I can push the most weight. Want to make sure I have the most energy. Now, when I squat, I don't do a lot of reps. I actually do only 5 to 6. The reason for this is because 1, anything over 6 for me just feels like cardio, especially when I'm going super heavy. Should you squat narrow or should you squat wide? The easiest way to figure this out is dependent on your flexibility. So where are you most flexible in? Easiest way to do it, bring your knee up to your chest and move it out. Wherever you feel that flexibility lack is where you don't want your squat position to be. So if you're most flexible around here, you kind of want a more narrow squat. Ideally, we're gonna start off with just the bar. We're gonna add a plate, go to 2 plates, and then our working set's gonna be at 2 plates and a 35, and then we're gonna hit 3 plates. And then from there, we're gonna move into our next exercise. And like I said, you're gonna see me really focus on my depth and my technique. Depth to stimulate the most muscle growth, technique to make sure we don't get injured. We don't wanna be moving with our back. We want all the power to be coming from our quads and our legs. Technique, when you're squatting, you wanna feel like you're pulling the bar into your back to activate your lats. It's gonna stop that arching or rounding of your back when you go down. So make sure, pull the bar into your back, as well as depth-wise, you wanna at least go to 90 or you wanna go below 90. You don't wanna be doing anything less than that because you're not getting the most effective stretch onto your quads. As you add more weight as you squat, very important, flex your core, brace your core. You wanna feel like you're getting ready for someone to punch you. That way, it's gonna stop you from arching or rounding your back. My lat feels weird. It's weird because I'm not even hitting back and my left lats feel weird. One thing I'm a big believer in is listening to your body. If your body doesn't tell you, you should go heavier, maybe listen to it, because my left lat's tweaking a little bit, and I've learned over the years of progressively lifting that if my lat's speaking to me, don't push it, don't tweak it. Maybe after the next set, I'll see if I want to do 3 plates. Where's the clip? Safety first. Since I can't go as heavy as I want, I'm probably gonna drop it down, do 2 plates and a 25, and then bust out like 6 reps. And then we're gonna do that for squats. All right, goblet squats. There's 2 variations you can do of this. You can either do it on the Smith machine or you can do it with dumbbells. The one thing I like about the Smith machine is it's a little bit more stable, especially when you're first starting out with this movement. Now, this is one of the exercises that help me grow my quads tremendously. The reason for it is I get a lot of knee flexion, stimulates the most muscle growth. I can focus on depth, and I'm not really focusing on going overly heavy with this exercise. So it's really about the control of the movement, especially on that eccentric part, and then really pushing up and driving through my quads on the concentric. Now, you wanna have a plate. The reason for this is it's gonna elevate your heels, make it a lot more quad focused, and then we're gonna do 4 sets, 1 warm-up set, and we're gonna do 3 working sets. So feet close together. Unrack the bar. Make sure you pull the bar down into your back, activate your lats, flex your core, and down nice and controlled, deep, and then straight back up. You don't want to flare your knees, keep your knees in, and just nice and controlled. Nothing's better than having a smooth Smith machine. Now we're gonna move into our first working set. We're gonna do 3 working sets, and then we're gonna move on to the next exercise. Each working set, we're gonna aim for around 10 reps. Like I said, you'll really watch me control the eccentric phase of this exercise, so the negative portion, and then I'm really gonna drive through my quads on the way up. All right, so for the next exercise, we're gonna be doing a seated leg extension. Now, most commercial gyms have a leg extension machine where you're using both legs at the same time. This one's isometric, which is honestly good because sometimes you find your dominant leg will end up taking over on this movement, so it allows you to work each leg equally. Now, when it comes to a leg extension, the biggest thing I focus on is getting a really good stretch in my quads. In order to do that, I have this piece down here, which attaches to my shin almost as far back as the machine allows me to go to get the best stretch. Now, the next thing people have questions on is the placement of this back seat right here. This back seat, over the years, I've just learned, move it all the way back. That allows you to get the best stretch on your quads, works your rectus femoris, which is uncomparable on any other exercise to the leg extension. Now, the way we structure this, again, we're gonna do 3 working sets, 1 quick light warm-up set, only like 5 reps, as our muscles are already kind of warmed, but I always just like to do a warm-up set so I don't get injured. So we're gonna pack on some weight, control it, slow eccentric, slow concentric phase of the movement, and then from there, we should have a good quad pump already. Nice, slow and controlled. Really focus on that stretch, really focus on that squeeze on the way up. If your quads aren't pumped after this exercise, you're doing something wrong. Expert tip, if you slightly angle your foot out like this, you might not be able to go as heavy, but that teardrop part of your leg, the work and the mind muscle connection on that part is absolutely insane. That was one of the things, like when I was building my quads, I really wanted that aesthetic quad where I have that teardrop. So for the longest time, I did this exercise with my foot slightly pointed out. The goal was not to lift heavy. Mind muscle connection, focus on the stretch, focus on the squeeze, and I started to build that teardrop. It started to come in a little bit more. The pump's nasty right now. Holy shit. It's a good leg day. When your legs and your knees feel like they're gonna buckle. All right, so the next exercise we're gonna be doing is leg press. Now, the leg press can be done two ways, and a lot of the questions people have is where should they actually place their legs? It depends on what you wanna focus on. So, for example, if I was doing glutes and hamstrings, I wanted to focus on my glutes and hamstrings, I would have a higher foot placement. Higher foot placement is gonna target your ass and your hamstrings. If you want to target your quads, you want your foot lower on the leg press. Now, again, you can either go a very narrow stance, which is more quads. You can go a slightly wider stance, which will be quads, but it's also gonna work your abductors and your adductors. You don't want your foot placement super high? That's hamstrings. You want it down here. Slight outward point with your toes. And now watch how I control and look at the depth. A lot of people, when they do this, they go very shallow. They don't bring their knees to their chest. Again, like I said, your quads grow with what? Knee flexion. Also, on the way up, do not hyperextend your knee. You're asking to get injured, your knee could flip backwards. We don't want that. Again, you're gonna have a slight bend in your knees when it's at the top portion of the movement. Never lock them. One thing people tend to do on this exercise a lot is they like to ego lift. So they put on more weight than they can actually control. We don't want to be those people. Again, when you're trying to build an aesthetic physique, you really want to develop mind-muscle connection. And two, you want to be pushing weight you can control with obviously, progressively overloading to a point where obviously, you can do it safely, but also still get the full range of motion. Because again, one thing that's really important when you're weightlifting is you don't get stiff. Especially if you're someone who plays sports like myself. If you don't go through the full range of motion, you don't get that dynamic mobility, you're gonna become stiff. That's when injuries start. We don't want that. So make sure, don't ego lift, control the weight, and focus on the muscle that's really at work. Take your muscle to failure, man. Again, gotta make sure you're pushing yourself. You gotta make sure you're working hard enough. Now, the last thing I program on my leg day are calves. Too many of you guys skip calves. You don't want small calves. And calves are so good for everything else if you're especially an athlete, for your explosive work, jumping, everything. So, there's no excuse not to do calves because you can do it on so many things in the gym. You can do it on a seated calf machine. Most gyms have a standard. This one doesn't. I do like to stand it a little bit more because it goes with the strength profile and you get a better stretch on your calves, I find. Also, there was a study done that if you do standing calf raises versus seated calf raises, you actually get more growth in the standing calf raises. Now, if you don't have any calf machine at your gym, you can do it on a Smith machine. You just want to get a little bit of a box that you can hang your toes on and then just down and up with the machine, right? Make sure you get a nice stretch on your calves. Now, if God forbid you don't have a Smith machine, you can do it on your leg press machine. Same thing, put a plate on each side, have your heels hanging off, and just move your toes. So there's no reason you should be skipping calves, okay? No warm-up set for calves is needed. I literally just do 3 sets, 2 failure, and then we're good for calves. I'm not really gonna talk too much on the calves. It's a very redundant exercise. Again, all the way down, get the nice stretch in your calves, and then all the way up. All right, so that's it for the leg day. Very simple, 5 exercises. My legs are absolutely gassed right now, and that's how they should be at the end of every single leg day. Really and truly, if you hit your quads really well one day, you should not be able to touch quads for the rest of the week. I can tell you right now, I'd probably say Wednesday, my quads are gonna be absolutely taxed and they're gonna be sore. And then by Thursday, I'll be good to hit hamstrings. So that's why I kind of program it, give myself 2 days in between to really be able to recover so then I can hit a really good, effective leg workout for Thursday when I focus on glutes and hamstrings. Now that's it for the first day. Obviously tomorrow we're gonna be hitting chest. Now, if you're looking to put on or figure out how to program the right exercises for you to hit your goals, to achieve that obtainable aesthetic physique that you've always been wanting, or really just to shred that last bit of body fat that you have and really pack on some lean toned muscle. What I want you to do is I want you to fill out the form below. You'll get access to this 7-day free workout plan. Book a call as well. Let's sit down, talk about your goals. Let's see how we can get you from point A to point B in 90 days. If not, keep continuing to watch the series. I hope you get a lot of free value out of it. I hope you are able to take all the information you learned from this and use it for your future exercises. That's it for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Kill it.